laser-guided smart weapons, all-terrain mobility, hazardous atmosphere compensators, and this Thanksgiving, he's in town with a few days to kill. Predator 2. This film is not yet rated. It starts Wednesday at theaters everywhere.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
Welcome back, everybody, to another 0-Point Reviews. This week, you just got Kevin and Jeff as we're talking about Predator 2 from 1990. Well, everybody, I don't know what y'all think, but this is kind of a trippy little sequel, and we're missing an Arnold from this, so how well does this one really turn out? All that and more here on 0-Point Reviews. Make sure you hit the like button, share, subscribe, and let's get on going with this, Kevin, as we like to do. What is your first memory of Predator 2?
Oh, fudge, man. I'm pretty sure I caught the poster in a comic book somewhere. Maybe even in a Dark Horse comic. I'm not sure. Or did Dark Horse have licensing to Predator at this point? I don't remember.
I'm unsure about. It did start kind of around, I want to say early 90s, but I wasn't like the big comic book guy. It's just from what I can kind of remember around here.
Right. And we'll bring up a point later, like this, like greatly shapes Dark Horse comics in the direction the Predator comics take. But anyway, I remember seeing the poster for it in the comics and really wanting to see it. I don't think I saw this one in the theater. I really doubt it, unless my buddy Wes and I snuck into the theater to watch it. But I know I watched it with my good buddy Wes, or watched all the new horror films at that point with him. And then I had this poster that I meant to make a slide of tonight, and I missed it. It's basically a picture of him up there in our logo in the corner.
Yeah.
And it had a like layout of all his different weapons.
Oh.
And it would describe them, and it was so friggin' cool. Let me see if I can send it to you, because you can get it up faster. Get it? You can get it up faster than I can.
Only with the right reading material there, Kevin. The second you said Alien versus Predator in the Dark Horse comics, is like, full mast. Let's go.
There you go.
Well, you're oh, did you send it over?
Yeah. I sent it via Messenger. Riveting podcasting, y'all. That's what you show up for every week. And we appreciate
it. Especially the visual aspects.
As we're like sweating our Bozaks off wearing t-shirts and shorts.
Yep, sleeveless over here.
I'm only wearing socks because there's like spiders out here.
Of course, you say that now.
My daughter, who my 6-year-old who makes fun of me for being afraid of spiders and snakes and all that shit and bees and whatever else, everything else, like freaked out today because there was a gardener snake behind her, like 6 feet away. And I'm like, well, I respect that, but really? Like, that's going to scare you? But yeah, I had this poster and it was glorious. I stared at this all afternoon long, like after school sometimes, just like thinking how cool these weapons were. That was one of my like greatest and fondest memories of the Predator. And it was stupid because I've never gotten a tattoo, but I always joked if I ever got one, what's something that I've always liked throughout history that I'd, be okay with on my skin. I don't know, maybe the Predator on a rock. The wisdom of 10-year-old Kev.
Ready to pounce.
Ready to pounce with his cannon up like this.
Just like that.
But did you see this one in the theater?
I did not. I did see this on VHS tape. I want to say basically the second it hit home video. Now, I don't think I rented it. I think I just straight up bought it.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure it was like I want to say it was like 25, $30 because I basically got it like the day it came out.
Nice.
I want to say it was at like one of the big box stores. It might have been Target at the time.
Oh, see, we didn't get Target till like 93 or 94.
Or
in Hollister.
Shopko, one of the two. And that's Wisconsin.
Oh. Still, that's better than Hollister, California at the time.
I think they had just built the Walmart in Lake Geneva at that time. Or right around there.
We were going to Sam Goody and shit in Salinas.
Sam Goody, yeah. Yeah,
We were risking getting shot for our fucking entertainment.
I think it was 91, 92 when I got that. So maybe not have been right away, but I don't remember like release schedules for home video back then. I want to say, didn't they put them out like about 9 or 12 months later or something?
Yeah, it was really slow. So it took a long time. And I remember putting my name on the reservation list for the poster at the San Juan ice cream shop.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, like if they would have posters up for their video rentals, but if kids would go and get ice cream after school, you could say, did anyone put their name on that one? And the purchasers or whoever was serving would say, nope. Oh, can I reserve that one? And they'd write your name on it and you could take it home when they were done with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always wanted to figure that out at like movie theaters, but it's like, I was a bit shy back then, a little too introverted to be like, hey, how do I get a movie poster if you're going to just throw it away?
You have to know the manager or the projectionist.
Okay.
That's the best answer there.
I tried to get hired as many times as I possibly could, but they never hired. So I never got to work in a theater.
If I could fucking do that and like still be like, if I didn't have to work, that's what I would do. Easily, I would run a movie theater or work at a movie theater.
Kevin.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, with drone shows. Yeah, oh shit.
Hells yeah.
Sorry.
He's about to take down his whole podcast studio.
Clang. Yeah, the drone show.
But yeah, I did it was VHS. I bought it and I think I watched it basically like 3 times almost immediately. And I thought it was a fun, awesome movie. And while it's not nearly as good as the first one, it still has a particular enjoyment for me and an affection for me. So nostalgia classes or not, this will always have a special place in my heart because it's one of the ones I bought like almost day one. And at that time, day one purchases of VHS were very rare for me. So I was able to get it and I certainly watched the hell out of it and like Back to the Future. Those were the ones I absolutely had right away.
Yeah, I dig that. Those Back to the Future 2 and 3, when those came out, like those were kind of events.
Yeah, I had the little VHS tray, the little like wood grained little fake looking cabinet with the 2 drawers, and you could load up like I want to say 9 or 11 on each side, and I only had like maybe 15 movies between them all. Eventually, that would get dwarfed as time would go along. But it was a good time. And Predator 1 and 2 were absolutely some of my favorites, along with RoboCop, Back to the Future, and I think I had Star Wars, and I don't remember what else was in there, at least at this particular moment in time.
Yeah. Predator, I remember Predator 2. My dad, when we rented it, I don't think he disliked it, but he didn't like it as much because Arnold wasn't in it. Like he wanted to see Arnold in it again. He wanted to see them going up toe to toe again, Dutch going round 2. Well, it's like, well, that one got blown the fuck up. So, but I get the disappointment, and I felt it a little bit to myself when I was a kid that Arnold wasn't in this one. But the more I watch this movie, the more I enjoy Predator 2 more for separate reasons than Predator 1.
Right.
And it's really the type of thing of what kind of a mood are you in, whether or not this is good as or better than. It just depends upon your mood.
Yep. And in some respects, some of it's a little bit better, some of it's not nearly as good. But it's its own identity they definitely, because they took it out of the jungle. We
Mhm.
didn't have an elite mercenary squad here on this one. I mean, you could argue some of the, military group was supposed to be a bunch of badasses. They ended up being a bunch of dweebs, and they got dropped out. So,
Dude, the
other than-
Jamaicans, those were some bad motherfuckers.
yeah, that was the real test right there, and that was some of the most fun in this movie. But at the time when it came out, I know a lot of people were so disappointed. But when you look back at like trivia or information you may or may not know, Arnold almost did come back for this, but they had a disagreement over money, and I think there was something else too. Like he didn't get along with somebody in particular, and so none of it really came to fruition. Oh no, I don't think he liked something about the script. I know there was a money issue, and they didn't want to pay him what they were disagreeing over.
I respect that, and I know Arnold knows what he's worth, especially by the 90s.
Oh God, yeah.
Or by 1990.
Well, he was about to freaking do like Terminator 2, and then it's like, bro, you had your chance at Predator 2 with him.
They messed up. I mean, because he was already a fucking huge commodity even before T2.
All right.
Obviously. But anyway, I never saw this as a lacking successor to Predator.
No.
I always enjoyed binging Predator 1 and 2 together. And if I watch Predator 1, I want to watch Predator 2 immediately after. Because there are things that I enjoy about part 2 more than I enjoy part 1. Just to your point. And that's kind of what a sequel is supposed to do. You see that in really good video games all the time, like the Metal Gear games. Like all the controls are essentially the same between Metal Gear 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, and 4. But come 3 and 4, they start to evolve, or 3, 4, and 5, they start to evolve from a base core of control to functioning to do other things. And that's kind of what this movie does. It starts out with your base knowledge of the Predator and what you've already known from it killing Dutch's team, to now it's got this whole variety of other weapons that it could use. And that there are more of them, and they have like quirks and rules and tribes. This was a neat seed for a fucking awesome franchise that didn't always have an awesome movie installment.
That's very true. Very true. There was good soundtrack in this, though. I did like that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't notice like any performances or anything like that, but the scores were all really good.
Yeah, that's more what I mean. Like the score, like it's nice and different and unique for going more urban jungle rather than typical South American jungle.
I wish they would have stuck with that than force the South American jungle from the original Predator soundtrack that they did, because they put that in there quite a few times. The drums, most specifically, the super repetitive drums, that's always in there. Like, didn't really necessarily fit this film, but it's a staple of Predator, so I guess they put it in there. And then what else was there that was South American? Oh no, it was the not South American at all. It was the theme that plays when Jesse Ventura died.
Oh yeah.
Like, do we?
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, like, do we need to have a bugle theme?
Yep.
So, but you're right. I did like the soundtrack to this one, or the score to this one. It was good. It was fun. This is a fun part of the 90s, because they were predicting what the 90s were going to be in like 5 or 6 years.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. LA was going to be on fire. Well, it still kind of is. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie, is when they're having the newscast and they're talking about everything that's going on in LA, like gang warfare and violence and heat wave. And I'm like, boy, some things never change.
This movie just holds up. The only thing you'd have to fucking explain.
It's like Demolition Man, baby.
The only thing you have to explain is what the fucking dial on the phone is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, conceptually everything else holds up.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, speaking of that, let's get on into it. Let's talk about the good of Predator 2.
Bang! All right. I love the Predators in this movie. Like, this is Stan Winston at his finest. Say what you will of Pumpkinhead, say what you will of the T-800, but I love the Predator so much.
Yeah, it was so badass. There's so many different prosthetics and masks and different designs going on. It's like, yeah, that's what we're talking about, especially the end reveal where Danny Glover's character of Harrigan is just completely surrounded by about a dozen of them. And it's like, oh, he had this look of like, all right, who wants some? It's almost like he was channeling his inner Bruce Campbell for that moment. Like, all right, who wants next? And they're all looking at it like, yeah, you can't take us all on, dumbass.
You know, the funny thing is, I was reading that all those Predators were friends of Danny Glover's, and that apparently the studio didn't want to get Danny Glover casted as the lead.
No, yeah.
They didn't, let's be real about it, they didn't want a black lead actor. That's what it was. And as it turned out, the director convinced them otherwise, that it was going to be a really good idea. He's super popular, he's really good, and he's gonna fit this movie for the script that we have in mind.
Yep.
And the director also knew how influential Danny Glover could be. And so all of his friends were just as tall as Kevin Peter Hall. His friends were the LA Lakers. Those were apparently the Lakers in costume. And so if you've ever seen that video on Facebook, or if you've seen the GIF of all the Predators in this ship dancing in sync, that is real. That's not AI. It's not, or Photoshop,
yeah, that's not
whatever
some fibbing around.
Yeah, that's something they did behind the scenes, and that's all the Lakers dancing what the Laker girls do.
Yep. Because they probably had enough fun with the Laker girls themselves.
Fucking love the 90s.
You think any of this was written with cocaine-induced mentalities?
I hope so.
It certainly felt like it. But no, what you're saying about Danny is accurate. And I think he was a good, solid choice. Who else would you have gotten? You can't do Carl Weathers. You got killed in the first one. But he did just fine. I totally believed it. Yes, he felt a little bit like Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. Or wait, was he Murtaugh in that one, or was he Riggs?
No, he was Murtaugh. But the funny thing is their captain is his lieutenant in this movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's why I got turned around on Lethal Weapon. It felt like, the characters got reversed a little bit, and he was channeling his inner Lethal Weapon of, all right, I guess I'm going to do this, and seeing him more edgier and a little more badass. That worked for me. He could still handle it. He didn't look completely out of shape. He didn't look anything out of shape. He looked like he could handle this if he absolutely needed to. I just wish he was a little more shoot first, ask questions later kind of guy. He would try and subdue, at least initially, unless he lost Danny. And then once he lost Danny, it was like all hands were off. All rules were gone.
Yeah.
And whatever he had to do, he was going to take care of. And even if it meant beating the shit out of Gary Busey's character of Keys. Danny was fantastic in this. I don't know who else could have been a better switch for him. I think they did pretty good by doing Danny Glover.
He's brilliant. And anytime you see him, you're excited in the movie, whether he's the good guy or the bad guy, preferably good. But that's just me because I'm a giant kid. And he's Murtaugh.
That's right. I looked it up just to be sure. Steven Seagal almost got this movie.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Why?
And I think Patrick Swayze was almost rumored as well.
That would have been okay.
Look.
Patrick Swayze has no bad movies.
Okay, so with Steven, he met with the director and even invited him to his ranch, but the director ultimately decided against casting him because Seagal wanted to be more of a CIA psychiatrist and martial arts expert who carried a gun. And with Patrick Swayze,
All right.
he was considered, but potentially alongside Schwarzenegger, but that idea was dropped.
That
So that might have been more of a buddy cop with Patrick and Arnold than actually Patrick leading, I think.
probably so. And Arnold probably didn't want to share the spotlight, I'm sure.
Or give him any sort of rub. And it wasn't like anything personal, but like professionally,
No.
Arnold was kind of past the point of doing buddy cop movies at this point. He had already done Raw Heat or Raw Deal or Raw Heat. Oh, Red Heat. It was
Red Heat and Raw Deal.
And Raw Deal. He had already just done those, and he was already ready to stand out and lead at this point. And for the next several movies, he's gonna do just dandy. So,
Yeah. Well, I guess.
total Recall. Then you got, Terminator 2. After those two, it's like, yeah, Arnold was off and running as a solo act. So
I don't know. I think I liked him until True Lies, and that's where I was kind of like, no, you know what? I'm sorry. I've
Best
never
action hero
disliked
for me.
Arnold. I still need to see that apparently, and everyone's yelling at me because I haven't seen it, and I'm really sorry. I always shit on that. I'm part of that
wouldn't feel bad.
demographic that was always told it was crap, so I was like, yeah, it's crap. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad about not seeing Last Action Hero. That one, when it first came out, I saw that in theaters. I thought it was all right. It's aged better over time. And looking at it as almost his last great big epic action adventure movie. I do like True Lies. That was 90. Is that 96? Or 94? But I like that one, but that's after that, it's like, what does he do after that? End of Days maybe is okay. The Sixth Day is okay.
Eraser.
Eraser was all right.
Yeah.
It was all right. I didn't say it was good.
They took the concept of the third graders recess game. I got everything gun. Like, okay, that's sure.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened with Arnold, but I don't think Steven would have been very good. I don't even think Patrick Swayze might have been okay if they had done this same script with him, but I think Danny ultimately was the best fit for this movie.
I think so, because he was young enough and physical enough to be able to do the job. He had the experience playing a cop in general, but he was also old enough and respected enough or respectable enough, having played that role as a cop, to give that veteran cop speech that he gives Bill Paxton. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, he's still the man. You're like, and you buy it.
Yeah.
And you buy it really well. And I make fun of the cast in the bad. I will, I know, but
yeah, there's a couple of things in there.
This is a stellar fucking cast. It really is.
And I loved Paxton in this movie, man. I can't help it.
Everyone has a moment to shine in this movie. And where their character is campy or their roles do something campy, each actor knows what they're doing in this movie, and they bring a little bit extra to it. And that brings a little bit of validation. Well, actually, a lot of validation in this movie as far as it not being bad. It's not as bad as everyone generally gives it credit for.
Right now, oh man, prosthetics, good casting, special effects are pretty damn dope.
Yep.
Like they definitely improved on the stealth technology a little bit more. And we also got a little more tech going on with the military. So we got smellorama sensors going on. And then like the overall look of the Predator changing his vision scope from the thermals all the way down to different levels. That was fucking fantastic, clever, and it looked great.
Yes. And that planted a little seed that Alien vs. Predator, I mean, that happens in Alien vs. Predator. They don't see the alien in the infrared. They see it in another spectrum.
Correct.
And that gets way cool later on in the franchises. Which I might be mistaken, but I think the leader of the Predators might be Broken Tusk from the first AVP comic. So this might be around the same time. I'm not sure. Or that I could be thinking of AVP itself, the movie. They put Broken Tusk in that too.
I'd have to watch that one again. Oddly enough, I do have those movies in my collection. How I rank them and look at them is completely different than these two movies, though.
They are guilty pleasure popcorn movies for me. I like the first one because it's a Wes Anderson movie and it feels like a Wes Anderson movie, and it happens to have aliens and predators that fight for about 5 minutes in it.
Yeah.
The second one I like.
Visually, it's pretty. I just
Yeah.
didn't like the hybrid alien predator at the end. That's all.
He just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
If it would have done more, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I still love you, Wes.
Paul W.S. Anderson, married to Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Paul Anderson, not Paul W. Anyway. I digress. I 0 point.
Well, welcome to 0 Point Reviews. That's what we do. Go off on tangents and have fun doing it.
And forget what the hell I was talking about in the first place.
Man, the marketing on this was pretty damn dope. I got like coming to town for a few days to kill.
Now,
It did all right at the box office, I think.
this didn't have any like McDonald's endorsements or anything like that, did it? It was too
I don't think it did.
too R-rated. Because again,
R-rated?
this was still, you know, kind of 1980s anal retentive politicians and bitching and whining with censorship.
Yeah. I mean, well, there certainly was a whole lot of swearing and a lot of violence going on. We had a little bit of nudity. So this movie checked all the boxes for all of us growing teenage boys.
A little bit. This movie
Had
was
full
like
frontal,
this-
baby.
Yeah, it was a significant deposit into the permanent spank bank. I have had that moment in my head living rent free in a safety deposit box since I was 10 fucking years old, man. That's how fetishes get started. Fuck you all.
Man.
Don't judge me. They're sitting there.
I'm not
humbling.
judging you.
Yeah, it's true.
It's in the same check bank over here. But
Everyone
No,
home's going
it's-
like, I do like Latinas.
arriba. But that was actually kind of a funny scene where she's riding her boyfriend, the drug lord guy, and they all burst in and start. Oh, what do? They hang him upside down. They gut him, and then the predator shows up and guts all of them and leaves her alone.
Yeah, and they shoot him. He's dying, and they just start opening fire. Whether he's alive or not at that point, I don't know. But they're wasting the fuck out of his body because it's in the way of where the predator.
Terrible
would
gun
be.
control.
Yeah, so that slab of meat had fucking
Yeah.
the meat was no good after that. God, that was fucking cool though. I will never
it
ever
was
forget
spoiled.
that scene. Voodoo magic, man. Fucking voodoo magic. Tell you what he does believe. Shit happens.
Yeah, man.
Love that shit. This movie was brilliant. I
Oh
don't care
god,
what
and the
anyone
predator
said.
even echoes that later too.
This
There's
predator
some
had
good fun
sass.
to it. I have no problem with this story. I got no problem with the characters. I think it all fits together obscenely well. My nitpicks, we'll get to those soon enough. But
Again,
one of
I
my
don't.
favorite parts is the King Voodoo guy
Mhm.
when
King
the
Willie.
predator drops down and he's all by himself and they go face to face and they're getting ready to like start a fight, and then in the next scene you see the head getting carried away by the predator.
That was so cool.
That was so badass. It's like you know he's screaming, but then you realize, oh wait, his head got removed from his body.
That scream was from a while ago. That's kind of like a sonic boom, kids.
King Willie, that's right.
6.3. That's what this got. This got a 6.3 versus the 7.8 8 that the original got.
Yep.
Predators, the third one, got a 6.4, and part 4 of the Predator got a 5.3, which I only got 10 minutes
too
into
high.
that last night, and that checks. I'm not finishing that bullshit.
How far did you get?
It's about 10 minutes in. 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes. I'm like,
Yep.
This is dumb. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to watch this.
I
And I didn't even play
not a
video
fan of that
games.
Yeah. Well, budget-wise, this one was about 20 to 30 million, and at the box office, it was 57.1. So it did make its money back.
Oh, did it?
It wasn't a
Nice.
huge success. I'm pretty sure they would have wanted like more around 100 million, but it did all right enough. But some people would consider that a failure, especially back then. If it hit 75, it would have
Yes.
been all right too.
Now I do remember Wes's mom did take us to see this in the movie theater, and
Oh,
then we
really?
went to the we went to the comic book shop afterwards.
Okay.
Good times.
Good times. Did you get popcorn soda?
I don't know, probably.
Or does mom say, like, I'm never taking you to an R-rated movie ever again?
No, dude, she snuck us into all sorts of fun shit.
Cool mom.
Or
then.
if she didn't sneak us in, she'd take us so we could sneak in.
Well, cool mom. Unlike mine, who after RoboCop 2 said, I'm never taking you to another R-rated movie ever again. You got to figure out your own damn way into these movies.
Harsh.
Those were her words exactly.
Fine.
I'm never taking you to another R-rated movie ever again. You figure out your own way into those movies.
I'll do it my damn self.
Oh, I ended up figuring out, just buy a ticket for a different movie and just go right in to the movie you wanted to see. So I saw Major League 2 about 9 times. It was really only once. And then I saw 7 other R-rated movies that summer.
Major League 2.
I like that movie. For sequels,
guess.
I mean,
It's for sequels, it's not bad.
no. You can stop after one, honestly, but with something akin to like Predator and Predator 2, I think it's well worth watching both. Predator 1 is definitely above and beyond the Champ. This is pretty up there too. So this is a very solid sequel in my opinion.
Now, would you compare the two similar in style? Because Predator, we talked about last week that Predator, the first one, is not just an action flick because it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger military movie. It's also a sci-fi flick because it's got an alien in it. But it's also a horror film because it's got an alien that's stalking them and dismembering them in it.
Yep.
And it's beautiful because it holds up for like years and years and years to come. It just remains a relevant movie. This one does not, because obviously it shows more like culturally known things like telephones and newscasts, things like that.
Right.
But do you still find it to be both, or the trifecta of action, sci-fi, and horror? Do you still think that they kept that spirit?
I do. There's enough of a horror element to this, but there's also a little bit more of a comedy element to this now being included too. And we get that with some side characters. We get that with unintentional humor. Just watching the Predator like heal up his own damn arm. I mean, we got an element of that in the first one, but it was even more comical as he's screaming. And then you introduce like the people living in that apartment, especially the old lady. And then after everything's all said and done with that apartment, and Harrigan jumps in, he's like, he went that way, and I forgot what the line he said was. Where'd he go? I don't think he's gonna like you or something like that.
I don't think he cares. Or I'm a cop. It's okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He gives a shit.
I don't think he gives a shit. Yep. And then him having to chase him all the way through the damn building, and he's like, "God damn! Doesn't this guy ever slow down?"
Yeah, right. I mean, it's one thing that he's 7'3". He's got like super mutant legs.
Yep.
He's awesome and climbs apparently.
Yeah, so there it does carry enough of what happened in the first part, but in this second one, they introduced the idea of like honor. In the first one, it felt like he would not stop until he was about dead. There was
Kind
really
of.
no honor. He would have killed like everybody in sight, including the women. In this one, it was more like, oh, she's pregnant, not going to kill her.
Yeah.
Oh, the drug lord's girlfriend, who was the spank bank for everybody. Oh no, she's a woman. Forget her. Ain't gonna kill her either.
She was unarmed. She was unarmed, and she wasn't dangerous. And Maria, like you said, she was pregnant.
Well, that did carry from, yeah.
Yeah, Maria was pregnant, so she was it's basically a doe. You don't shoot the doe during mating season because that could be a buck that you're killing, a future buck.
Yeah.
I grew up in a hunting family. I'm sure you did too.
My dad hunted until he almost got killed.
Moose, bear, honey badger,
16-year-old behind him who almost shot my dad's head off from behind. He was messing around with his gun and it went off. He knocked my dad to the ground and kind of nicked his ear.
Christ.
Another 2 inches to the right, and I wouldn't have had a dad. And that's when he said, I'm not going hunting again.
Yep. I'll buy my meat.
Yep.
You're not allowed to sell venison here, but I'm sure there are ways.
I'm sure there are. What did you think about the runtime on this? Did this work for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it could have been a little longer. There could have been a little bit more action to it, but that's because I'm a glutton for this shit. It's not because it was necessary. If there was any more, it might have been a little too long. But there could have been a little bit more with King Willie. There could have been a little bit more of a lead up to King Willie, or even the Spanish side of that war, because you see in the middle of the war, but you don't. The only thing you see of the Spanish side is that the fucking guy gets hanged upside down and, you know, his heart removed, which was, again, really cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I should have gotten that picture of the chick, but that would have been expected of me. But no.
Subvert those expectations, Gavin.
I know.
Yeah, the runtime for me works. If anything, they could have trimmed a couple minutes out, replaced them with other things like what you were just talking about with like more King Willie, more with the drug war that was going on. That could have been a little bit more interesting, introduce more of a cop aspect, and that they're trying to deal with this war. And this predator showing up just really turns everything completely on its head, and everybody starts killing everybody. And he's killing everybody too at the same time.
I would have liked to have seen, you know, something excluding the cops on the streets, a drug deal going wrong or something within the war, again, with none of the cops about, and the predators watching, and then gets involved and takes out the strongest.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been fun to see, because that's what they do. They explain that in the Predators. They sit and they watch and they figure out how the hunt's going to work, or how their prey is working. Then they come in for the kill.
I'm actually going to watch that once at some point this week still.
I watched it last night. I went in for a little bit of it. I'm sorry, night before last, a little bit of extra credit. I tried to watch The Predator last night, and I was like, nope.
Yeah. I absolutely stop at Predators. Robert Rodriguez. PG-13.
I enjoyed that much more this time than I enjoyed it the first and second time I watched it.
First time I watched it, I'm like, that's all right. Second time, I'm like, okay, it's starting to grow on me. So it does have some fun stuff to it. Just some of the casting in it just does not work for me.
Yeah, like I like Adrian Brody, but his voice in it, I'm just kind of like,
it ain't right.
Use your real voice, dude. Come on now.
That's what a lot of us thought too.
Like, I like your real voice, man. Was it because this came out around the same time as King Kong?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Because I mean, I liked him in that too.
Right. I think he was just trying to sound a little bit more manlier, but dude, just be yourself. You don't need to do that.
Smoke.
Yeah, and Topher Grace is like,
That's my problem with the movie is I'm not a fan of Topher Grace, but I bought it more this time because it's like, well, okay, whatever, it's Topher Grace. I like Topher Grace in character. Like, as a person, I don't dislike him. I like him as a person. I have a great deal of respect for him. But when I watch things like Spider-Man 3, I'm like,
yeah, that, and then Predators. The only other movie I think I've ever liked him in is Take Me Home Tonight, which is a teen comedy or drama comedy thing. It's like, yeah, it's a one-note movie, but I actually kind of like that one. I think he did it fine in it. And I never really liked that 70s show. So
I liked Red.
Oh, hell yeah. Who didn't? I mean, I did watch enough of the show to be like, I at least tried it. It didn't work for me. I don't hate it. I just didn't. I didn't really get into it. So,
yeah.
Predators is all right. Just JK.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't dislike it any particular time that I watched it. They bend the mythos a little bit, but you can't be mad at that because they do that in part 2. Part 2 expands the mythology, and they didn't say. They didn't change anything. They just expanded things. And that's what happens with part 3 or the Predators. You have the standard Predator that you're aware of in part 1 and 2. He's in this movie, but he is not the big bad of it. There is another species. They expand and say there are more than one type of Predator. And the big bads in this movie or that movie, there are 3 of them. And they're basically super predators. They're, 2 feet taller or a foot taller than that one. Yeah. And they don't like the little ones. They look down on them. They hunt them. And they get a little too explanatory with it. It's like it's some kind of blood feud. And you're like, how the fuck do you know that? Do you talk to them? Do you call them at home? But otherwise, it's fun. Although it's got some plot lines where you're just kind of like, that was unnecessary.
Well, that was Robert Rodriguez's original script was like this big convoluted battle arena sort of thing where everybody's fighting everybody. And it was too much. And it took years to whittle it down because the idea for Predators was Predator 3 with his script for 1996. And it took a long time to get that script under control and under budget to be able to actually do it. That's why when it finally happened, he didn't direct it. He was preoccupied with another project, but he was able to produce it. So he was able to keep some of his ideas in there.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you remember reading about that in Wizard Magazine when you'd read in the movie updates, or when you were writing for Cinescape, you'd read about that. There'd be updates about his movie, and it was always considered Robert Rodriguez's Predator 3.
Yes. And I think it could have been interesting, but that's a lot of money. For what he wanted to do, that would have been like $150 million movie back then, and nobody was going to pay that shit.
I don't know if it would have been marketed right. Maybe, I don't know, because I mean, True Lies was $100 million at that point.
Yeah,
and that was the most expensive movie ever made when it came out. So yeah, for around the same time or a little bit after, $150 million for a Predator movie. That is a sum. Yeah, that's a bit of money.
Well, we've talked about some of the good, Kevin. We should also talk about some of the bad.
All right, man. So this ragtag group of fucking
Danny's Angels.
Oh. Hello, Murtaugh.
This message will self-destruct in 3 minutes.
Okay, so I say this is the bad, but what is not to love about this fucking picture? It's so cheesy. It looks like it's the cover of fucking TV Guide. And
true.
it's promotional work for a big budget summer blockbuster, sort of.
That was a Thanksgiving movie.
Was it?
This came out November 21st, 1990. So who wants to spend their Thanksgiving watching a murderous rampage in Los Angeles? Me.
This guy.
Yeah.
Well, that was not going to be the worst thing that happened to LA that year.
No, or any year after that.
True.
Oh, man, some of the casting was a bit goofy for me. Not so much Danny or Bill. And she was fine, too.
Maria
was all right. She didn't have much of a role other than to serve as I'm pregnant, so I don't get killed.
She also played the game over man type character. Like she took that position for Bill Paxton. We're all gonna die, man. We're all gonna die. Like she was the one that kept like shouting out during action scenes. Bill Paxton didn't have to do that nearly as much as he did in Aliens in this feature.
Yeah.
So, but she was okay. Like you said, she didn't have a whole lot to do.
Right.
It was hinted at that maybe she was pregnant with his kid. I don't know. Maybe not.
There had to have been some cutscenes or something, or she had a boyfriend that we never saw.
Yeah. Because otherwise,
I did not pick up on any of that until the end, until that moment in the movie. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, because she was like, well, I mean, again, everyone's part of the team in this movie, but she was really emotionally invested in Jerry.
Yes.
So
did you like his quips?
You know what? Bill Paxton could come up with the worst fucking pickup line, and we've seen him put up some of the worst pickup lines, and he's made them sound like fucking like sleazy gold. Like, I want to butter your biscuit.
God, from Chet and Weird Science all the way to this. Oh my God.
But he's got such a heart of gold in this movie. And that's the funny thing, is because Bill Paxton always plays a sleazebag to some degree, but he's a very good sleazebag in this movie. And it works. It's nice to see him as this character.
Oh, yeah. And especially when it's time to get serious, he does get very serious as a character, and he is a good cop. He does know what he's doing. And Danny, as Harrigan, he compliments him on that from time to time. Like, I'm impressed. You're actually pretty good at this. And it's like, well, thank you, sir. And then he gets right back to making quips to Maria.
Being an adolescent again.
Yeah. It's like, all right, get it. A little bit of a hot shot, but he wanted to be there. He wanted to get in the thick of things, and almost like RoboCop, careful what you wish for coming down to Metro South here. You're in the middle of a war now.
Yeah, like it's not a romantic thing. Like, there are people getting blown up, chopped up, left in bags, left out. You want to
be your hero down here? Good luck with that.
Being burned alive.
Yep, part of the team.
This is the shit.
Yeah.
And they're making movies at the same time because they've got permits over there.
Yeah. But they don't have permits over there, so you might be able to slip in for a couple minutes, but then you better come back before they put you on a union-approved break.
Yep. Otherwise, whatever your crimes are, whatever they're filming you doing, might be submissible.
Yeah. Could be a problem. Wait for that California tax cut, everybody.
So, but no, the casting was not bad for me with this. I don't think any of the casting was necessarily bad for me with this. It was just very off-putting.
Yeah, maybe that's the better way to put it.
Yeah, the first movie was action and all very tough people that are going to take on this huge fucking monster. And you believe that it's going to take all these tough motherfuckers to take on this fucking just invisible monster with, crab teeth and whatever else. I don't know. I think it was off-putting to me as a kid because that was lacking. But growing up, watching it again and again and again, and then looking back on it rationally as an adult, I'm not put off on it by it at all. Again, I'm very welcome to it because, for one thing, we've seen much worse actors go up against predators at this point. And this movie has some very wonderful actors in it. Talented actors. Not all of them, but some of them very talented actors. And it's a treat getting to see them play a movie. Even if it's a shticky character like Jerry, you're still getting to see Bill Paxton do some seriously cool shit.
Yeah, that's a little more appropriate for what I was thinking. I wouldn't say like miscast, just be like, it's a little off-putting at times, but they're all very good. I like I said, I'm talking about Bill Paxton's character. Like him on the subway sequence was like, boom, that was full on Jerry mode right there. Like total serious. I got to take care of shit. Like, things gonna get done, and he puts up a fight.
That and him not beating the shit out of, but cornering Morton Downey Jr. That was pretty fucking awesome.
Oh god, him being in this cracked me up.
He what a smutty motherfucker his show made him out to be.
I know.
And this movie took that persona and just cranked it up to 10, and it was so fucking funny.
They're like, it's almost like, hey, you want some caffeine? Let's see what happens if we give you some caffeine. and take away your cigarettes.
Take away your cigarettes. Oh man, my grandma hated him so much.
I think a lot of people did, but that's what worked back then. Shock jocks.
Yep.
Of sorts.
Makes me think of that guy from Freddy's Nightmares. I say what I think, and I think what I say.
Oh, right.
What the fuck does that even mean? Anyway.
Oh my god.
So, but anyways, anything else bad? I don't.
Well, okay. Here's a question for you. At the end of the movie, Danny Glover in an ash pile walks out in whiteface. Does that work for you? It looked like he fell in a vat of cocaine. And it's really just ash. But it's like, the visual just cracks me up every time. And I'm like, I don't know if that is aging well or not. I don't care. But it's like, I crack up at that every time.
You know, I feel for him because anybody in that situation would probably be wanting to pee their pants or just sit back down, but they're going to be in ash and don't want that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as empathy for the character, not so much Danny himself specifically.
All right.
Golly, I got nothing until you said that. I've never really considered that. Like, oh, that doesn't hold up. It's okay when they do it. It's not a good idea to misappropriate any culture, kids.
No.
But we could laugh about it when it happens, when people do it, because it's a bad idea. Just as long as you don't do it. Yeah. Anyway, his very slow stroll and look of just dazed when he comes out of that tunnel with all the ash on him. It's kind of
in
iconic.
shock. He just killed an alien creature. He just got handed a 1719 pistol, and he's just like, "Oh damn! I killed an alien. They took off, and
then blown out of a turbine."
Well, and then Gary Busey's crew run up to him, and they're like, "You fucked everything up. We had our chance," and he's like, "You should have. You'll see him again. Don't worry. You'll have another chance."
Yeah, they'll be back.
Yep.
And that's right. I forgot. Adam Baldwin survived.
Yep.
I always forget that he survives this picture.
I'm casting with Adam Baldwin and Gary Busey.
This
bit rolls though. Bit rolls.
Yes, very much so. I think this might have been the first time I ever saw Adam Baldwin on screen.
I think so for me too, actually.
And probably one of the reasons why I've always liked him is because I remember him from this. And of course, Gary Busey, I remember from Lethal Weapon.
Little reunion with Danny Glover a little bit.
Yeah. My wife and I were laughing about that, and we were watching it. She actually watched the movie with me. I was like, haha, I knew something would eventually get her to watch podcast homework with me.
There you go.
Just didn't tell her it was for the show.
Yeah. That's how you do
it. It's not official. We could watch it. Don't mind me. I'm not taking notes. And then Danny, the Danny character, for as important as he was supposed to be, I think he could have been in it just a little more than to show Harrigan lose his shit and fly off the handle.
Yeah.
Like Clint Eastwood would.
Oh, yeah. But there's a lot of big explosions. It's bloody. It's gory. It's got everything we wanted back then.
They even had disembowelments and shit.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, when he throws the the disc and it cuts the guy in half that's hanging up in the air, you see all the fucking guts hang out or start like falling out, and I was like, "Brava, movie, brava,
brava." Mm-hmm.
I appreciate.
As far as anything else that's bad, I don't really have anything else, but I think the big question would be is, why do you think it didn't turn out as good as the first one? My answer would probably be there's no Arnold. So people probably checked out, and it wasn't in a jungle this time. But I'd argue it's nice to freshen things up a little bit. You don't have to keep everything the same. Sure, Arnold's presence is missed. There is a throwaway scene where they mention 2 survivors, but yet they only show the girl on the screen really quick. They never show Arnold, and they never mention him by name. So that's it's a very loose linking to the first one.
You don't hear shit about Dutch until like 30 years later on the video game.
Right. And that's actually, when I was doing some research last night, that's what they were saying was they actually brought Arnold back for the video game, and he was interested at that time. And he was offered Predator 3 as well, because that's what that script was going to be centered around, was Dutch being on another planet fighting gladiator games with other alien species.
Cool.
And he totally noped out. He was not even interested in that one.
Fair. Fair.
I can't do Arnold accents anymore. I'm sorry.
Not after Zach.
God, yeah. That was funny. I'm like, dude, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's judge this thing, Kevin.
All right, man.
Boosie was out of his mind in this movie. It's like they had like snow flying around as kind of a joke to him or something.
Yeah, right. With all the cocaine and shit. He's got a party blower too.
Yep.
I like this movie. I would give it a 7 instead of a 7.8. This is a truly enjoyable film. There is not a single bad actor in this movie. The special effects are A++. It's not a step down from the monster you see in the first movie or how much of the monster you see in the first movie. It's 2 steps up from that. So I'm not going to go below a 7 at all for this. Like, it is a great movie, or it's a great sequel. It's as enjoyable as the first one in many ways. It's a different type of movie, so I can't say it's not as good as the first. It's just different. But okay, and to touch, it's outside of the jungle. It's the urban jungle. Like, people just need to change their concept of what this is. He's still hunting in a jungle. It's just a different kind of jungle, and it's a different way to hunt because there's so many prey around, but only some of them are the strongest ones.
Yeah, he's trying to find the most worthy ones out there to make a trophy out of.
Yeah, so I mean, this guy's really kind of in the shit.
Yeah. I don't think he claims Gary's skull. that
would
have been an interesting one.
I loved that disc when I was a kid, and I stared at that poster for
Yeah.
hours. Like I said, just like imagining having those weapons and how cool those would be in that fucking disc, and just tearing the guy in half, and the cattle itself, like knowing how tough beef is. And it was just an amazing scene. It was a cool ass concept. Amazing.
Couldn't agree more. For me, I'd probably go about 7.5 myself. I give it the extra bump just for being creative, doing something a little bit different while retaining a lot of sensibilities from the first one. Wasn't nearly as kind of horrific as the first one, but they certainly brought the gore. Special effects were top notch. The practical effects were even better. And the fight scenes made sense. It never felt like, Danny couldn't stand up to this predator. It showed like he could potentially do some damage. And yes, ultimately he ended up using the predator's own weapons against him. And I think that worked. And I got to give props to my favorite weapon, not just the disc, but the netting gun that they had.
Yeah.
That was totally sick. And they show it early on, and then they show it again at the end. But Harrigan's got the disc, and he's able to cut the string before it does any real damage to himself. And I like how that played out. And it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. And I see just JK out there is giving it a 6. That's fine. Totally respectable. I wouldn't go any higher than a 7.5 personally. Not that I don't think it's any lesser of a movie, but it's much enjoyable, and it hits a lot of the check boxes from when we were kids, and it still does for me today. It's still a fun movie. Could it have been better? Could it have been tighter? Could it have been edited a little bit better? Yes, yes, and yes. But they're not so bad that I'm going to give it like a 5 or anything like that. So, pure enjoyment and good moments, good qualities, good characters. You got me. It's good. I just wish it had done a little bit better at the box office to be able to, be a little bit more of a classic than a cult classic. But no Arnold, you're going to lose a point from about everybody on that one anyway.
Yeah.
You can't even mention the name Dutch.
He owned that shit. But I think it worked out better for the franchise that he wasn't in it. I think
so too. Yeah.
Because that forced the franchise to grow based on the Predator itself rather than the character of Dutch or their relationship. And that was a really good thing. Because Dutch didn't need to be the ongoing hero of this series. Not in the same sense that Ripley was the ongoing heroine of Alien.
That is very true. Yeah, that's beating it into the ground, honestly. It might have done better if it came out a couple weeks earlier. Yeah, this should have been actually a summer movie, in all honesty.
I saw it in California. Every day is a summer day. Oh, in 90? Shit.
1990.
Not Batman Returns?
Okay, let's see here. Back to the Future Part 3. Total Recall. Dick Tracy, Gremlins 2. RoboCop 2. Die Hard 2. Okay, yeah, so there definitely was a problem with trying to do that during the summer. Yikes.
Decent competition that summer.
I thought Die Hard 2 was 91. I guess I was wrong on that.
I don't know. I didn't see Die Hard 2 until I was in like early to mid 20s. I saw the others in the theaters.
Yeah. When the hell did RoboCop 2 come out? Jesus.
Did I see part 4 in the theater?
June 24th for RoboCop 2. So yeah, I never would have gotten to see Predator 2 in the theater because that's when my mom was like, nope, you figured it out on your own ass.
Yeah, that was another one we got snuck into.
Mm-hmm. But that's all right. Now, Kevin, you have any other thoughts before we say goodnight to everybody?
See this. If you haven't seen it, see it. If you don't own it, buy it. It's great. It's fun. It's
worth a watch.
it's not a perfect movie, but it is a perfectly good time.
Yeah.
That's really a great compliment that I could pay to it. I've never been unhappy watching this movie. I've seen this movie more times than I have fingers and toes. It's a dope flick.
Yep. Definitely a good time with this movie. Good popcorn. Grab a soda, grab a drink, grab whatever you're edible or whatever you're into. This is definitely a good time. It is a worthy sequel. Do recommend it. Once you get past this one, the interest kind of dies down the franchise until Prey came out a few years ago. And that's kind of a different movie. Kind of goes back to basics of the first one. And while I like it, I know a lot of people have some issues with it, but I enjoy that one. I really do. And I'm looking forward to Predator Badlands. Still not sure I like the Predator designs in that one, but I am still going to go check it out anyway. I need to see Killer of Killers, apparently. Even though the animation does not work for me, but I'm going to still watch it for the story.
I started watching about 5 minutes of it, and it wasn't horrible.
All right. I
It's
heard there's
different,
parts of
but
it that's pretty good.
very well may be so. Like I tried watching a couple different things this week because, again, I had free time after finishing Friday the 13th, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess I could finish that because I knew we were going to be talking tonight. And I was like, well, I suppose if I already watched Predators, I could watch that for extra credit.
Yep.
I just didn't get through it.
And
So,
you never
but I
will.
know that there's a Easter egg at the end, or 2 Easter eggs at the end.
Okay.
Skeeter told me.
Oh, and we got a Twitch comment out there. Darius Stone, thank you for tuning in. Big up, lads. I actually really like Predator 2 and think it's on par with the first one, but not quite as good. Very fair assessment.
Agreed.
Thank you for tuning in over there. Greatly appreciate it. We are wrapping up, but we want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. And make sure you hit that like button wherever you are following us. Subscribe, follow, whatever platform. We are simulcasting on Twitch, Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and of course YouTube here. So we'd greatly appreciate it if you joined us along this path, working our way up and having some good times. Next week is going to be Killer Clowns from Outer Space, everybody. Yes, we are not covering Predators. We might save that for future use. And then after that, going to be doing Lake Placid and Alligator from 1980. So that's how we're going to be going on July heading forward on 0 Point Reviews. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you all on the next one.
He has thermal image vision, optic prism body armor, laser-guided smart weapons, all-terrain mobility, hazardous atmosphere compensators, and this Thanksgiving, he's in town with a few days to kill. Predator 2. This film is not yet rated.